the World Baseball Classic. You play for your country. San Diego, California, where 72 and mild with sunshine is standard business in downtown Petco Park, playing host to the World Baseball Classic tonight. Superstars of Major League Baseball competing with and against one another in a way they've never done before. Welcome to this World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network, presented by Geico. Plenty of star power tonight as Team USA makes its San Diego debut against the All-Stars of Venezuela. The standings in San Diego after one game, Puerto Rico upsetting the Dominican Republic to open the bracket last night. 1-0 Puerto Rico, winless Dominican Republic, and the U.S. and Venezuela play their opener tonight. With that, we welcome you inside Petco Park with Hall of Famer John Smoltz, Matt Vasgersian. As we have come to expect in this tournament, John, plenty of star power between Venezuela and the U.S.
Yeah, they are, and they got here with relief, right? They know they're going to get a chance to play 3 more games, see if they can go on to L.A. A lot of pressure on the first game. There always is. Try to bank that win as soon as they can, and then the strategy plays out in the managers from a variety of ways, who to get in, how to give them at bats, which pitcher out of the bullpen. A lot of things going on both sides for this first game.
And a great pitching matchup tonight for U.S. and for Venezuela. Drew Smyly on the mound for the Americans. He was activated for this round off the designated pitchers pool. The new Mariner on the mound for the U.S. and the old Mariner on the mound for Venezuela.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Felix Hernandez, of course, he's the king, and he's coming in here with the expanded pitch count to 85. Look for him to have all of his pitches working, where Drew Smyly is trying to check in and continue what the U.S. starters have done, and that's basically not give up an earned run.
For the U.S., their lineup today features a handful of guys who are very familiar not only with Petco Park, but with Southern California as amateurs. No shortage of guys that have played here professionally and as amateurs. Nolan Arenado, Danny Duffy, Adam Jones, Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, all Southern California products.
Well, that's got to be a lot of fun, and certainly returning home like you think in March. You're usually in spring training, so this is an opportunity for them to have a lot of fun and certainly try to help their team get up to a good start.
Only one of these guys went to high school in San Diego, and he's standing by with John Paul Morosi.
Thanks, Matt. Here with Adam Jones, Morse High School class of 2003. What does it mean to be playing in this tournament in your hometown?
I mean, it's great. Obviously, it means that we advanced, and we're getting the second round playing, pool with Dominican, Venezuela, and Puerto Rico, 3 awesome teams. But it's great to be back home. I haven't been home in March since 2003 when I was my senior in high school. So it's different being here at this time, but it's great being here because, obviously I'm playing baseball, the game I love, and I'm being able to do it in front of my family and friends in the great city of San Diego.
Petco Park, not known as a great place to hit, Adam, but it has been for you. 483 career average. What's been the key for you here in San Diego?
I don't know. I just think it's, trying to put on for my city. I think that's just really what it is. I get my family and friends to come out here and support, and, people that I played baseball with years and years ago that just come out here and support and just give me that extra little energy and push. So I really hope that they could meet me everywhere on the road so I can hit 483 in every other city, too.
Adam, thanks so much.
Anytime.
Matty, back to you.
JP, thank you. Among the leaders for Team USA, Adam Jones, there's one player for Venezuela who without question sets the tone for their success. The 11-time All-Star, 4-time batting champ, and 2-time MVP, Miguel Cabrera.
This guy's unbelievable. Can I just say for the record, I hated pitching against him, but I sure love watching him play now up here in the booth. This guy's swing, everything he does represents the complete player. I think he's the best offensive player over his time that he has spent in the big leagues, and for Venezuela, they're counting on him to get a little bit hot each game he plays.
Yet to get it really cranked up in World Baseball Classic play, and the Americans hope that tonight isn't the night. We've got a great matchup in store from Petco Park. Team Venezuela and Team USA. Lineups and the opening pitch coming up from San Diego right after this. Welcome back inside Petco Park with John Smoltz and JP Morosi, Matt Vasgersian, getting ready for the U.S. and Venezuela. And manager Omar Vizquel aligns his star-studded Venezuelan squad this way. Jose Altuve, Martin Prado, and 11-time All-Star Miguel Cabrera right out of the gate. Victor Martinez is the switch hitting DH tonight. Rougned playing third base, batting number 5. Kansas City shortstop Osiris Escobar bats 6th. Rocky Carlos Gonzalez, Ranger Robinson Chirinos, and Brave Ender Inciarte round out a very good Venezuelan lineup. Quite a bit for the 27-year-old Drew Smyly as he makes his World Baseball Classic debut tonight.
Drew Smyly, fastball, curveball change. He'll throw a cutter every once in a while. I'm sure when you get to play your first time, you got a little bit of the jitters here in the second round. This will be his first start with Team USA.
Jose Altuve ready to get us started tonight. 4 for 15 so far in the tournament. And Altuve bunting pushes it out toward Hosmer, who's got to hurry, and Altuve beats it out. That's some way to settle in. A bunt single opens the night.
Yeah, almost not fair with the thump that Lineup has. He's seeing the infield playing back. He's got tremendous speed. Hosmer, best effort he could. That was the only play he had, trying to catch him on the foot or maybe catch the bag.
And now Jose Altuve's wheels will be a part of the equation. Stole 30 bases last year with the Astros, a 2-time American League stolen base champ. And he's on base in front of Martin Prado. There are some big numbers that the Venezuelan hitters have put up so far in the tournament. Recall, they had to play an extra game down in Jalisco to qualify to get here. They defeated Italy in the tiebreaker game. In 4 games, Martin Prado 7 for 16 with 5 runs batted in. And he takes a strike.
Yeah, they had to play catch-up ball. That's the one theme that they'd like to change this second time around. They really got behind, and it changes your approach. It changes the stress value of being down by 5 runs and 6 runs. They would certainly like to get the lead and let King Felix pitch with the lead.
Stare down between Smyly and Altuve. There's a fly ball swatted out to shallow right. Andrew McCutcheon's out there tonight for the Americans, and that's the first out of the game.
Well, for Drew Smyly, here's the points, I think, in what looks like, you know, maybe 4 innings. Check in. You're part of the team now. Do your part. Continue that momentum the starters have had. And then get that curveball going. It's an excellent pitch. It'll keep the timing of these great hitters off of the fastball. And see if you can give them 4. 4 innings would be huge for Jim Leyland, as more than likely Drew Smyly will not go north of 60 to 65 pitches.
Here's Miguel Cabrera now. 4 for 15 with a home run so far in the tournament. The 11-time All-Star, without question, not only their leader on the field, but their leader in the clubhouse as well. In visiting with Venezuela's manager Omar Vizquel today, he confirmed what you might have guessed, that Cabrera sets the tone and everybody kind of falls in line accordingly. High strike call, and it's 1-1.
Well, you saw the 1 home run. No bigger time to get a home run than when you're down 2-1 in the 9th in an elimination game. That home run tied the game. As you see this fastball in the inner quadrant of the strike zone, and then they went on to score what ended up being 2 more pivotal runs to win by 1.
1-2. There is something of a Michigan theme here. Not only am I seated next to a Michigan man, but this whole Tiger story is really out there for this matchup between Venezuela and the U.S. You got Jim Leyland managing the Americans, former Tiger Drew Smyly on the mound, current Tiger superstar Miguel Cabrera at the plate. Current Tiger first base coach Omar Vizquel in the other dugout managing for Team Venezuela, and a Tiger on deck to boot in Victor Martinez.
Tiger playing second base. Did you say that already?
I didn't even catch that. I didn't get Ian Kinsler. You're right. mean, we keep going. Alan Trammell's a part of the coaching staff for Team USA. Detroiters are proud tonight. One out and one on, a ball and 2 strikes to the 4-time batting champion Miguel Cabrera. Broke his bat, back up the middle. Kinsler gets one and the other. And that's something Drew Smiley can feel pretty good about. A scoreless start to the night. The Americans line up this way against King Felix Hernandez. Ian Kinsler, Adam Jones, and Christian Yelich lead it off. And Jim Leland told us before the game he wouldn't be surprised to see a batting title in the future of the young Marlin. Arenado, Hosmer, Goldschmidt, McCutchen, Lucroy, and Bregman round things out for Team USA. And it's the 6-time All-Star and 2-time ERA champ King Felix Hernandez on the mound for Venezuela. .51 pitches in his opening performance in the first round. We were told before the game he's good to go to the max pitch count into the 80s here today. No governor, no restrictions on King Felix. Here's a 1-1 to Kinsler.
Well, he's got everything. He's got a 4-seamer, 2-seamer, a changeup, a slider, curveball, even a cutter every once in a while, but that changeup acts as a split finger fastball.
An 11-game winner last year with the Mariners. As he goes even now to Ian Kinsler, 2-2.
As much as I like watching Cabrera hit, I've loved watching this guy over his career pitch. He is absolutely a workhorse. Unfortunately, has not been able to pitch in the postseason.
He was also unable to pitch in the World Baseball Classic last time around. Back in 2013, you may recall, he was still in the midst of contract discussions with the Mariners. It all worked out okay for him. He ended up signing that 7-year, $175 million deal just before the World Baseball Classic kicked off. Full countdown, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Pitched in the event in 2009 and 1 appearance already this year. And he strikes out Ian Kinsler, 1 away.
Well, for King Felix, what can you say? But in this format, stay classy, San Diego.
Yeah.
Steal a line from Anchorman. He has been unbeaten in this ballpark. Loves pitching here. And then try somehow to pitch with the lead because this team has gotten behind more than they want to. His off speed is as good as anybody's. Listen, this guy's pitched a ton of innings. I'm sure he had to hear last year what was wrong, maybe losing a few miles per hour on his fastball. But this guy, when healthy, is as good of a pitcher that we have in our game in the major leagues.
Here's Adam Jones now off to a 4-for-14 start in World Baseball Classic play. John Paul Morosi visited with him before we went on the air tonight and asked him about the success he's had here at home. Little comebacker for Felix and a quick out number 2. He likes to swing the bat here at Petco Park. Adam, a San Diego native. Two quick outs for Felix. And that drew the attention of Omar Vizquel and his training staff. They're coming out for a visit.
Yeah, when you make a play like that, you take for granted you're throwing from a standstill, putting a lot of pressure on your hamstrings to make that play. It's not getting over there. It's once you plant and throw. So he makes this play. Watch him get over right there, and then he plants and throws. That little movement right there seems innocent, but you could tell there was something he didn't like in his lower half. And it would be a shame if he's not able to continue on a play like that. But it looks like everything's going to be fine.
I think Jerry Dipoto and his staff in Seattle would think of words other than shame That would be of grave concern.
It's rare that a guy doesn't throw a pitch to see if he's okay. He just went through the motion without a ball in his hand. And then he took off what I thought the hitters were going to finally say, hey, you can't have that on your arm, on your wrist. Maybe he forgot. Lime green.
Why do, whenever I think of distracted hitters or pitchers, I think of, was it Omar Vizquel and Joe Table, Jose Mesa?
Yeah,
was it the two of those guys, or do I have one of them wrong?
I don't know, but it's
With
always.
the earring?
Yeah, it's always a difficult proposition for a hitter to see something because they're looking in that area. They're looking when the ball's being released.
There's Christian Yelich now, and Felix Garnson with a strike. Yelich has been the Americans' hottest hitter so far in this event, 5 for 10 with a pair of doubles, and when you consider he didn't even play in the opener, he has really made a statement in a very short period of time. He's quickly behind 0-2.
Well, this format's so difficult for managers. They may have, let's say, a game plan of who they're going to play, right? Guy gets off to an 0-for-8 start. Somebody else goes 3-for-4. How do you not play that guy the next day? I think that's what's happened here with Yelich. He's seeing the ball and hitting the ball, and he wants him in the lineup. Started with a pinch hit double.
Yeah, and really hasn't slowed down. And this is a different looking lineup today for Jim Leyland. He's going to change it up again in their next game. Daniel Murphy hasn't played in a couple of days now. Ian Kinsler's played every game. He'll sit in the next one, and Josh Harrison's going to get a start at second base. But Andrew McCutchen is back in there tonight. He hasn't started since the opener. Buster Posey gets a blow.
Looks like he needs it.
1-2 to Yelich. He checks it. But Venezuela, left side of the infield, was already coming into the dugout.
Well, he can go to every quadrant, Ken. Felix Hernandez. You see a backdoor breaking ball right there. He throws the changeup down. The fastball moves on his two-seamer. He has every weapon to make a hitter nervous, and they can't eliminate a pitch.
Back to Felix. Knocked the glove off. And the side is retired anyway. Felix thinking this, I'm off to a rough start here. Gimpy leg, knocked my guante off.
That's glove in Spanish for those people who didn't.
I got the Google Translate windows open. This World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And sponsored in part by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. Go get rewarded now at bestwestern.com. And by the all-new Alfa Romeo Giulia. Scoreless through an inning. Victor Martinez leads off for Venezuela. Plenty of experience here. Former Tiger teammates. Martinez, Odor, and Escobar here in the Venezuela half of inning number 2.
Ball's coming out good for Smiley early. I've always said this every time I get a chance to do a game he's pitching. So reminds me of my former teammate Steve Avery. The delivery, the hat, the arm action, and similar pitches.
You get a couple of answers when you ask, who does Drew Smiley most remind you of? I think like the template is Cliff Lee, right? For a lot of guys. As Martinez swings and misses. Smiley off to a nice start tonight.
Yeah, back at the network I did a split screen of I mean, they do say Cliff Lee, but his leg, his knee when it comes up, and his arm when his hand gets behind his head reminds me of a young Steve Avery. Of course, Abe did an incredible job in the early 90s for us. Smiley starting out of the pen with the Tigers in the postseason, but right here, there's the leg kick. Avery went a little higher, but that arm and the hand coming behind his head makes it difficult for the hitters, makes that fastball seem firmer than 92, 93 miles an hour. Here's
the third baseman tonight. Yes, third baseman Rougned Odor. A 3-for-8 start for him in World Baseball Classic play. Odor plies his craft, as we know, as a second baseman in Arlington. But with Jose Altuve firmly entrenched at that spot, Omar Vizquel needed somebody to move. And Odor took the challenge. Started working on that in Rangers camp, taking ground balls at third. And who knows, that's a skill set that he might at some point tap back into. It hasn't happened yet. As you can see, all of his big league appearances have been at second base. A ball and 2 strikes to Rougned Odor. A wave and a miss, and Drew Smyly off to some kind of start. Second rounder out of the University of Arkansas by the Tigers in 2010. And speaking of Arkansas, there's one particular town in that state, JP, that is buzzing with World Baseball Classic action tonight.
A huge night, Matty. A huge night in Maumelle, Arkansas, especially at the Beef O'Brady's, which Drew co-owns with his father, Todd. You see the jersey there from Drew's time with Team USA in the 2011 Pan Am Games, and also his high school jersey hangs on the wall there. Matty, I spoke with them at the great Beef O'Brady's earlier today and was told happy hour all night long. 79-cent wings all evening for the great people of Maumelle, Arkansas.
If you're anywhere near Maumelle, get in the car for the cheap wings and the cold beers. Beef O'Brady's. All right. Alcides Escobar, the batter, and not only does he break a bat, he loses half of it as well. It's 0-1 to Alcides Escobar, who is becoming known as Mr. Reliable around Kansas City. He's played the full complement of 162 games in 2 of the last 3 years. Routine pop for Jonathan Lucroy. And on just a handful of pitches, Drew Smyly gets through the Venezuela lineup 1-2-3 in the second. Played an inning and a half tonight, no score. Welcome back to this World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network, presented by Geico. We are south of Oceanside, where those pictures came from. Downtown San Diego and Petco Park. Back with John Smoltz, John Paul Morosi, Matt Vasgersian. A scoreless tie so far. Felix Hernandez and Drew Smyly as advertised early on. Nolan Arenado leads things off in the Americans' half of the second. Arenado, Hosmer, and Goldschmidt. Nolan hit the 3-run home run in his final game in Miami against Canada over the weekend. It remains his only hit of the Classic so far.
Yeah, he's hit some balls hard, got off to a slow start, but he checked in with that 3-run homer, and you can tell how relieved he was that one of them didn't get caught.
And he goes around on the 0-2 pitch on the appeal, so Arenado a strikeout victim to start the second.
Nasty changeup, goes straight down. Just saw 2 fastballs, couldn't stay back. He didn't think he went, but at this point, once he went, there's that changeup. I'm telling you, it's nasty. It looks like a split finger fastball. For the longest time, I thought it was a split finger fastball till you see the grips.
4 up, 4 down for Felix, including a couple of strikeouts. And now a guy who's had some success against him in the past. Eric Hosmer, 5 for 15 during the Major League campaign against Hernandez. Able to check the swing. Hosmer's had some success in this ballpark as well, something that not everybody on the field tonight can claim. Not an enormous quantity of at-bats. He's 9 for 22 here in this ballpark. And by the way, this was the site of his All-Star Game MVP accolades just last summer. On the ground to first base. Cabrera's got it. 2 gone, and let's take you back to last July when it was this swing that won Eric Hosmer the MVP award. It came really early. Folks were kind of settling in with the shade and the glare. A home run off Johnny Cueto. Once again, the American League victorious in the Midsummer Classic, and Eric Hosmer was the game's MVP. 2 gone now for Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt, superstar that very under the radar.
Yeah, I would agree. Felix is matching Drew Smiley in terms of minimal pitch counts here. 6 up, 6 down in 22 pitches. We are scoreless in San Diego. These games start an hour later tomorrow and Friday night. Tomorrow, Venezuela takes on the Dominican Republic at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and then the U.S. and Puerto Rico on Friday at the same time. A couple of good games coming up in the second round from San Diego. Well, Drew Smiley has been super efficient to start tonight. He has worked to the minimum. He struck out a pair. He's thrown 17 pitches. 14 of those have been strikes, and half of those of the called variety. He'll have Carlos Gonzalez to lead off the third. Gonzalez, Chirinos, and Inciarte here for Venezuela.
Smiley and his fastball looks so much in rhythm that looks like this is about his 4th or 5th start.
Gonzalez 5 for 16 so far in the tournament. A guy who's had a lot of plate appearances here in this ballpark in his NL West days. In fact, among non-Padres players, only 5 major leaguers have more plate appearances in this ballpark.
The thing that's so unique about this tournament and so difficult to predict, we know about the stars, we know what they did the year before, but you never know how they're going to do in this early format in their early spring. So some pitchers are on their game, some relievers come in or locked in, some hitters are lagging a little bit. They need more at bats, they need more pitches seen. So you never know from player to player who's going to get off to the good enough start to help their team move on.
Headed back up the middle and through. Second base hit of the ball game. And the second time Venezuela has put its leadoff hitter aboard.
Carlos Gonzalez has such a long, pretty swing, but this long swing stays on the ball just long enough to get it up the middle. Curve ball, and he stays on it. A guy like that with a high leg kick you'd think would have a lot more strikeouts. But his ability to make contact is what makes him such a tough hitter, and of course in Coors Field.
So Gonzalez aboard now for the catcher Robinson Chirinos. Chirinos handling the catching duties tonight, and the majority of them moving forward in part because of the injury sustained by Sal Perez earlier in the tournament. A real hold your breath moment for Venezuela, for Kansas City, for all of Major League Baseball. And the good news was, after it looked bad with him limping off the field, speaking of Perez, it was a knee strain, and the Royals hope to have him back on the field as scheduled for opening day.
That's inside.
A ball and a strike to count to Robinson Chirinos. In the meantime, Chirinos will see perhaps a little bit more duty than he had bargained for, and that's okay with him. He's a guy who's used to kind of watching things from a bench spot. It's certainly not an indictment on his skill set. He's been around the game a long time, 32-year-old veteran. But this year in Texas, he'll be watching Jonathan Lucroy doing the lion's share of the catching. He was the opening day starter the last couple of years in Arlington. ball and a strike to count to Chirinos. Bunting. That's going to be trouble. Smiley's got to get there quickly, and he airmails the throw. Gonzalez into third. A perfect throw, and it would have been close. As it turns out, the high throw means runners at second and third, and nobody out.
Part of the thing that you do over and over in spring training is these kind of plays, but in tournament format, it would be a little more difficult to have these kind of plays. He gets there fine, a perfectly executed sacrifice bunt. That was the first goal that Chirinos. Then watch Smiley. He gets there, pauses, stands straight up. And when he stands straight up, he tries to hurry the throw. And the only way you can hurry the throw is to put something on it. And as soon as he puts something on it, you can see the ball sail over an already tall Eric Hosmer.
Big opportunity now for Ender Inciarte, second and third, nobody out. The Venezuela center fielder 4 for 14 so far in the tournament. They're going to credit Chirinos with an infield single, a bunt single, and then advancement on the error charged to Smiley. So single E1. And I would say that he probably would have beat that out on a perfect throw. So thus the decision to give him the base hit. Inciarte with a drive to center field. That'll be enough to get a run in as Gonzalez comes in to score, and Venezuela is the first to get on the board tonight. Back to the top of the order now, Jose Altuve, who dropped down a bunt single on the very first pitch of the game. Guys who win multiple batting titles, as Altuve has, have the ability to collect their hits in all kinds of ways. Altuve happens to hit for power as well. He can hit the ball the other way. He can bunt, as we've seen.
He loves to swing the bat. He's getting a lot of hits without a lot of walks.
Another big year for Altuve last season. Finished third in the American League MVP race. Had a rough September, which I think probably cost him down the stretch, because through early August, he was my vote for AL MVP. He's already accomplished so much at the age of 26. Just think about what he's accomplished for a diminutive player at 5'6", a generous 5'6", might I add. The Astros signed him when he was 16 years old. He wasn't any bigger then, that's for sure. Imagine the leap of faith that you take when you sign an international player who's small at 16. Somebody saw something there that they liked.
That somebody is pounding their chest.
He should be. He sure should be. One of the best in the big leagues. Straightened up on a strike. You know, the Astros were actually one of the first teams in baseball to really blaze a trail from a scouting and development standpoint in Venezuela. Dating back to Bobby Abreu, Richard Hidalgo. And Altuve swats a fly ball into right. McCutchen has it for route number 2. as the story goes, there was an oil executive under the employ of the Astros who had a very keen eye for talent. And it's that gentleman who's credited with finding the aforementioned players and a whole lot more. And now everybody's looking for talent in Venezuela, JP.
Point out, it really was Andres Reiner was the longtime scout for the Astros that pioneered those academies in Venezuela. And of course, one more player he signed, Carlos Guillen, who played for Jim Leyland in the 2006 World Series and is now the GM of this Venezuelan national team.
There's Martin Prado now. A run in with two away rather, and a runner at second base as Prado takes a strike. Martin Prado has played multiple positions for multiple teams throughout his over decade-long career.
There's a unique way in which he approaches the plate. His first move sometimes looks like he's bailing, but he keeps his hands back, and he's one of the best high ball hitters you'll see. He can go to right field with the best of them. He's become that complete player. I know that you mentioned he's played for a few teams, but what an asset this guy is in the fact that he is very versatile.
You know, some guys get traded a lot because nobody wants them around, and then some guys get traded a lot because everybody wants them. And I think Martin Prado definitely fits into that latter category. Been traded 3 times in his career.
And it's funny too, because early on it was felt that he could hit but not maybe have a position, and now he's got multiple positions.
Oh, 2 with a runner at second and a run in. And he went around, says the home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt. That's the 3rd strikeout of the ballgame for Drew Smyly, but Venezuela does crack the scoreboard in the 3rd. Through 2.5. The Americans trailing 1-0. Well, Felix Hernandez has looked good early, reminding us of this day, August 15, 2012. The first perfect game in Mariners history, the 14th by an American leaguer, and the 23rd ever in Major League history. It was the year of the perfect game. Recall 2012 saw 3 of them. Philip Humber and Matt Cain also authored perfect games that year. Felix has looked good tonight. In fact, the U.S. doesn't have a ball out of the infield yet. McCutchen, Lucroy, and Bregman.
Yeah, the good fastballs he's thrown have been on the outer part of the plate. It's not something hitters want anyways. They're looking for something middle in to pull early in the count.
There's a ball out of the infield. It's going to settle in shy of the track for Martin Prado and 1 away.
See, that right there is a perfect example. That ball leaks over the plate at all, and that is a difference between a home run and a fly out to left.
Seven up, 7 down now for Jonathan Lucroy. They've been quick at-bats tonight, too, which bodes well in terms of the pitch count. 80 pitches is the lid in this round. Based on the way Felix got through the first 2 innings, I mean, that could get him into the 7th inning tonight. Jonathan Lucroy looking for his first hit in the World Baseball Classic this year. And this is not one of his favorite venues. He's just 5 for 14 in his career at Petco Park. That makes this his worst ballpark by batting average in all of baseball. 5 for 40, that is.
I was going to say, I'll take 5 for 14.
Yeah, that wouldn't be so bad at all, would it? Hey, there's a hit for him. And the first base runner for Team USA tonight. So now from spectator to starting shortstop, that'll bring in Alex Bregman. And JP, clarify that for us, would you?
Matt, there are many great things to do in the beautiful city of San Diego, but on his off night, last night, I have it on very good authority, Matt, Alex Bregman bought a ticket and watched the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico play the WBC right here last night. Section 107. Sources tell me, Matt, this is actually true.
He'll learn. Not the fact of watching the game, but buying the ticket. He's young.
You know what? I think in buying a ticket and, you know, just showing up and watching as a fan, it was the only way to avoid the curious line of questioning presented by intrepid reporter John Paul Morosi, who would have badgered him into submission had he known he was here last night, JP. He was avoiding you.
Matt, I think we would have had an in-game interview with Bregman breaking down both teams, scouting reports, and he's probably there. He probably has notes ready to go for later in the week when the U.S. plays those two teams, Matt. I think we are probably, in that respect, my friend, kindred spirits.
Well, we'll tap into that for sure a little later on. Bregman behind here, 0-2. Trying to deal with the USA's first base runner. He's got Lucroy aboard with one gone. There's so many people in Houston that are so high on Alex Bregman. Of course, he won't be playing much shortstop once the season begins because Carlos Correa has that locked down for the immediate future. A ball and 2 strikes. And as much as Jim Leland likes Alex Bregman, in sitting Brandon Crawford tonight, it was as though Jim Leland had to send his favorite son to bed without any supper, because Brandon Crawford has quickly become one of Leland's favorite all-time players. And Bregman cashes in. Back-to-back one-out singles.
Well, facing a great pitcher with 2 strikes, got to try to stay up the middle. And that's exactly what he did. Protection against the off-speed pitches. He gets a fastball, and by staying up the middle, you can stay right center over the plate without trying to do too much. A little choke up of the bat. And that's got to feel good right there for a young player on the USA team, not getting a ton of at-bats. There's the 2-seam fastball. And Bregman.
An opportunity now for Ian Kinsler. And whereas there was not much head-to-head between Hernandez and Bregman, there's been a lot over the years between these two. In fact, the only guy that Ian Kinsler's faced in Major League Baseball more often than Felix is new San Diego Padre Jared Weaver from all of his Anaheim days. Look at that, 82 lifetime plate appearances. Base runners aboard to put a little energy in the crowd. A ball and a strike now to Ian Kinsler.
That's such a great pitch, and it was so good that I think it fooled Kinsler. I don't know if that was a great take per se, because a fastball away, it's rare you see a changeup in. He's commanded the glove side of the plate, meaning his glove side of the outside part of the plate, and then this changeup just buckles down. Had such great late movement.
The 1-1. Kinsler has a base hit. Lucroy's held. 3 straight one-out singles have loaded the bases in the U.S. third.
Yeah, Lucroy didn't get a great jump because the ball was hit in the hole, and he is a catcher, so let's watch this play as it develops, and he kind of gets going there, and at that point, he knows he's got to be held up. Willie Randolph taking no chances.
So Lucroy at third, Bregman the runner at second. And after the third straight single, Ian Kinsler at first, and a big opportunity now for Adam Jones. Just to remind you of the numbers, this is the ballpark where Adam Jones has had his biggest offensive overall line. And if you take his home yard of Camden out of the equation, here at Petco, he's almost a .500 hitter for his career.
I'm always intrigued in these situations when a team gets 3 straight hits and the bases are loaded, less than 2 outs. As a pitcher, you're trying to gauge whether or not the hitter's going to be aggressive on the first pitch. That's how you choose your first pitch with runners in scoring position. And Adam Jones has been pretty patient on the first pitch so far.
Felix gets in front, 0-1. Kind of a mixed bag for Adam Jones over the years with the bases loaded. Last year didn't have any success in this capacity, 0 for 9. A ball and a strike.
Well, you tell yourself as a hitter, the best you can is to look up and try not to react down. Because if you're really aggressive and you look up and you see a pitch like that, you're going to try to make something happen and swing over the ball and expand the zone.
6-time All-Star dealing to the 5-time All-Star. And it's 2 balls and a strike.
And see, by that approach, you can lay off of those pitches right there, because those are great enticing pitches in an aggressive situation to make the hitter recognize that that might be a strike and nowhere end up as a strike.
Singles by Lucroy, Bregman, and Kinsler with 1 away have loaded the bases. And it's 2-2 to Adam Jones now. Since Adam Jones joined the Orioles in 2008, he leads all American League outfielders in hits and games played. He ranks 2nd in RBIs and 3rd in home runs. You talk about guys that don't get enough credit. Two of the game's elite performers in a high leverage situation here. Still 2-2. Christian Yelich waiting on deck. Venezuela scoring in the top of the inning on the Ender Inciarte sac fly. There was a time in Felix's career, John, that we recall vividly where he was just automatic getting a ground ball when he needed it.
Yeah, his 2-seam fastball had such late movement, and 96.
The next 2-2. There's a ground ball for Altuve to Escobar for 1, the double play. Vintage Felix. A well-timed ground ball to get him out of trouble in a bases-loaded spot. He played 3 complete at Petco Park tonight. Venezuela on top of Team USA. 1-0. Welcome back to this World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network, presented by Geico. San Diego was and will be a military town, always.
How tall is that?
Looked enormous there, didn't it? Here's Miguel Cabrera leading things off in the Venezuela half of inning number 4. Back with John Smoltz and JP Morosi, Matt Vasgersian, and a 1-0 lead for Venezuela. Cabrera, Martinez, and Odor here in the top of the 4th. Well, Drew Smiley was able to dial up a double play ball off the bat of Miguel Cabrera to neutralize a threat in the first. Felix Hernandez had one of those as well to get himself out of a bases loaded spot last half inning.
You know, last year, getting a chance to talk to Miguel Cabrera in spring training, I just asked him, you know, what's his routine? What is he like? He says, I want to experience it all in spring training. I want to get jammed. I want to break my bat. I want to hit a home. You know, he wants everything to happen in spring training to get him ready for the season. And I've never heard a hitter say in spring training, I want to get jammed. Like, you just don't hear that.
Especially because he doesn't get jammed ever, right?
Well, he did early today on that little double play by his ex-teammate, Drew Smiley.
And he went chumming for one in the dirt and struck out. One away here in the fourth between innings. J.P. Morosi had a chance to visit with U.S. hitting coach Tino Martinez.
Tino, you have 4 World Series rings. How does this compare?
Oh, this is awesome. You know, winning the World Series is a great, honor with the New York Yankees and all that kind of stuff. But playing for your country and having a chance to win this World Baseball Classic is it's right up there for a lot of these guys.
Christian Yelich, a hitter that you saw earlier in his career there in Miami. How have you seen him develop now over the years?
Well, he's always been a natural hitter. The first year over there in 2013, he could just hit, flat out hit. And over the last couple of years, he's developed into an all-star, and he's going to be one of the great outfielders of all time.
How about Eric Hosmer, a fellow left-swinging first baseman there?
Yeah, I didn't know much about him besides watching him on TV, but the guy's a gamer. He comes to play, he practices hard, and he's a great offensive player and a great defensive player as well.
Tino, thanks so much.
Thank you.
I love hearing from the coaches in this event because, as we've documented since we started, I mean, it's a who's who of major league stars from various areas in the game on not only the U.S. side, but all over the field.
Yeah, because really, for the most part, they're grinding away in their respective teams in spring training, and they've got their different areas that they head over and are wanting to prepare their guys for the long haul of a Major League Baseball season. This is a little break and appreciation for guys they see from afar.
2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Victor Martinez. Magli Ordonez is here on the Venezuela coaching staff. It's like tiger time today. Everywhere you look.
Be a lot of eyes on the Tigers this year, especially coming out of spring training, to see how they do as a team.
Swing and a miss. How many times have Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez struck out back-to-back ever?
In a whole season, I'm going to guess no more than 4 times.
I'll take the under on that, as a matter of fact.
That would be impressive if it's under 4.
It'd be impressive if we could get the answer. It's being efforted by the great Keith Costas and our editorial research staff as we speak. Man, Drew Smiley's got it working tonight. 5 punch-outs for him now. Rougned Odor, who struck out back in the second.
Yeah, he's only made 1 mistake. He got to that bunt just a little too slow, and when he went to throw, stood up and created the opportunity for them to score with his throwing error. Still an unearned run, so the starters have yet to give up an earned run for the USA team.
Odor now 3 for 9 in World Baseball Classic play. Omar Vizquel was talking about his swing before the game, and it's big. I mean, he doesn't get cheated. But as Omar was quick to point out, it's mechanically sound. He's not up there flying open with the head up and down, and he likes the pass he takes. Smiley gets him on 3 pitches to strike out the side in the 4th. U.S. pitching has been strong all tournament long, and Drew Smiley no exception tonight. Still trailing 1-0, however. Let's send you back to the MLB Network studios for an update. Here's Matt Yaloff. Hey, Thursday spring training continues on MLB Network, leading off with Twins Cardinals at 1 Eastern, then Cubs and Dodgers at 4, then at 8 catch MLB Tonight. Spring training games on MLB Network presented by Best Western.
I guess those are still going on, aren't they?
Hey, we've kind of lost track, at least speaking for myself. I mean, this is we are all in for the WBC here, and will be until it reaches a conclusion next week in Los Angeles. Christian Yelich, Nolan Arenado, and Eric Hosmer here in the U.S. 4th. Well, we know half of the field there for LA, John.
Yes.
As play has closed at the Tokyo Dome. And Japan and the Kingdom of the Netherlands are moving on to the semifinals, which begin in Los Angeles on Monday. 2 of the 4 teams from this bracket will join them. 1 and 2 to Christian Yelich.
Of course, where they play, they had to start a little bit earlier to help them out with travel and getting the 2 teams to the necessary venue.
Israel was a great story in the tournament, but their bid to go even farther as a Cinderella fell short in Japan. Two balls and 2 strikes, the count to Christian Yelich. The 2 teams that qualified to move on, Japan and the Kingdom of the Netherlands, they'll be staying sharp in the Cactus League. They'll play some exhibition games against spring training clubs. Ground ball the other way for Odor, and 1 away. Between innings, J.P. Morosi visited with Venezuela manager Omar Vizquel.
Omar, a very different Felix than last time out, huh?
Well, yeah, he's attacking the hitter now. His sinker is working. He's keeping it down in the strike zone, and that's what I'm expecting from him today.
How happy are you, Omar, to see Ender Inciarte get credit for what a complete, terrific player he is?
Well, we got a lot of great guys here. Ender has been one of those spark plugs that we got. I can use him as a leadoff spot. I can use him in a lot of different situations. He's a bonner. He can hit the ball, play contact, and you know, one of those guys that you don't realize how heavy he can be in your team. Really, really excited to have him in mind.
Omar, thanks so much.
Thank you.
You know, when we visited with Omar today as Nolan Arenado takes a strike, he was very candid, expressing his desires to us to manage.
Yeah, definitely. That was the one thing that I think this experience has led other managers, believe it or not, through World Baseball Classic to become Major League Baseball managers. And
Arenado lines right to the center fielder, Inciarte.
And he was candid about the process and learning from everybody that he's been around, from his current manager with the Detroit Tigers to the manager he's managing against, Jim Leland. Of course, to his left, Eddie Perez, who's with the Atlanta Braves. One of the best pair hands catcher you'll ever get a chance to throw to.
2 out, bases empty now for Eric Hosmer. Yeah, Omar told us that in his time around the Tigers, he's just soaking everything in. Of course, tonight he could just tell the guys, hey, this is how you beat Drew Smyly, guys. Here's who you're facing. Just do like I did back in 2012. Got him in the Grapefruit League. And by the way, that was the last home run Omar ever hit as an active player. Hosmer with a drive out to right center field. That ball's hit a bunch, but it's going to die for Ender Inciarte. Oh, man. Petco Park in March. Marine layer, heavy air. You got to crush a ball to get it out of here tonight. Still 1-0 Venezuela.
Get up for something good this season with MLB Central. Join Matt Vasgersian along with Mark DeRosa, Lauren Shahadi, and special guests for your leadoff look at the day in baseball, plus all the news that's central to the game. MLB Central presented by Hyundai. Returning Monday, April 3rd on MLB Network. You will be entertained. You will be informed. This is something you cannot miss.
Thanks for the endorsement there, John. I didn't realize it was coming up so soon, though.
It's right around the corner.
Alcides Escobar leads things off in the Venezuela half of the 5th. Escobar, Gonzalez, and Chirinos, a 1-0 lead for Team Venezuela. It came courtesy of a sac fly by Ender Inciarte back in the 3rd. Drew Smyly and King Felix have been splendid tonight. The quality of the pitching performances as the tournament kind of winds its way to Los Angeles has been getting better and better. We watched a well-pitched game last night between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and just a 1-0 game here tonight.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the way it works, at least the way it did for guys who played a long time and were able to get to spring training, you use those first couple starts to work on whatever you want. You want to be able to, I don't know, I call it force feed certain pitches you need to improve. And by the 4th or 5th outing in spring training, you start gearing yourself towards the regular season that you're about to undertake. And in this format, you have to condense that and really utilize your bullpens for that stuff and be as sharp as you can, because you want to obviously do the best you can for your country.
So hearing you say that, and you know, if we're talking about a non-WBC year, it sounds like you're of the mind that spring training is exactly the right length.
Oh, for a pitcher, no doubt.
Escobar goes around. That's 5 straight strikeouts for Drew Smyly. Got to be getting close to some kind of a WBC record here.
He's locked in with every pitch, and that pitch right there just could not keep it back for Escobar. See the curveball that we talked about in the open. That is such a big pitch for him, because they got to respect the fastball. And then he has great break to that pitch. So yes, to finish that thought, you really are taking your spring training as a pitcher in sections. You're always going to hear hitters talk about spring training too long. You'll rarely hear pitchers say it's too long.
Carlos Gonzalez singled and scored that lone unearned run that's been the difference so far tonight. Gonzalez entering the last of a 7-year deal in Denver. He's going to hit free agency, entering his age 32 season. He's had his name kicked around in trade talks for the last couple of years. Big swing and a miss. It's behind 1-2 as Sam Dyson is hot in the U.S. bullpen. Again, the pitch cap in this round is 80, but in the case of Drew Smyly, 60 was his number. Looking more and more like Carlos Gonzalez will be his final batter, and Jim Leyland will maybe a little bit reluctantly have to make a mid-inning pitching change. He's got a fresh bullpen. Still 2-2 to Gonzalez.
Well, I know they got the pitch limits here for a reason. We all know, we've discussed that for the tournament, but we get so caught up on the pitch number, especially during the season, the build-up of spring training. You just don't want to have a guy go out and throw 24 pitches in an inning, or 25, and then you start risking that pitch count. But 5 or 6 over, no big deal. It really isn't. I mean, it's more about looking at the guy with your eyes, seeing if he's laboring, being in a position to throw the best pitch you can each time. Is he maxing out? Is he throwing too hard?
So let me ask you this. We get another foul ball here. That's 60. They pull him out in a 2-2 count?
No.
Full count. Oh, Jimmy's getting nervous.
Good pitch and a good take.
And Leland's not nervous because Smyly's been underperforming. He's been brilliant. He just wants this at-bat to finish so he can make the move. And there it is. Drew Smyly ends his night with 6 consecutive strikeouts. And folks in the ballpark who may be wondering about this don't have access to hear what we're telling you, but 60 was the number. This was the plan all along. So regardless of how good Smyly was here near the end, he has reached his own max number. Man, what a performance. Scary lineup that Drew Smyly all but completely neutralized.
Best performance of WBC, eclipsing Kitana.
And Stroman?
And Stroman.
There it is, America. Nothing but smiles for the new Mariner. We'll be right back.
Well, Seattle Mariners, you got to like this performance. Fastball crisp, curveball unbelievable. He even threw a couple cutters in there. This guy was on his game, and with the exception of an unearned run, I'm telling you, the best performance of the WBC. When you go through this lineup in Venezuela and you strike out that many guys and end your night with a string of strikeouts, 8 to be exact, no walks, no earned runs, fantastic.
Smiley yields to Sam Dyson, looking for the last out here in the 5th. The last pitch that Drew Smiley threw was 94 miles an hour, which is north of where he lives. In fact, in the StatCast era, and that's the best kind of, the most accurate detailing of things like velocity that we have, and that's the last 2 years, that would have been the hardest pitch he'd ever thrown.
Well,
Sam Dyson's numbers with the Rangers last year, coming off a very good 2016.
It was free and easy, and that's what I'm talking about. The eyes should tell you. If you're grunting, if you're getting down, you're getting extended. It was free and easy. He had extra adrenaline for a game like this with the name on his chest. And I'm telling you, that's the kind of progression as he, dealt with some injuries, and he will be given the opportunity to pitch for the Mariners, hopefully north of 200 innings.
What Smiley did to the middle of the Venezuela lineup, and if you need the names, Cabrera, Martinez, Odor, 0 for 8, 6 Ks, and a double play ball. A ball and 2 strikes, the count to Robinson Chirinos. Jim Leland would be one of the few guys that could say, I saw it coming. I knew it. I mean, he gave Smiley huge confidence when he was a young pitcher. Put him into some big spots early in his career.
That's pretty impressive. You look at the USA starters and you may look at their records and go, the last 2 guys they got a lot of losses, right? Archer had 19 losses. He had 14, but that doesn't tell the story respectively for each team and how good their stuff is. And the USA has come out blazing the starters.
Chirino sends a fly ball out to center, can of corn style for Andrew Jones to retire the side. U.S. pitching has retired 8 in a row, thanks in large part to Drew Smiley's terrific 4 2/3 tonight. This World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network is brought to you by the Puerto Rico Tourism Company. Visit SeaPuertoRico.com to plan your trip today. And by Lexus. Experience the thrill of the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event now through March 31st. See your Lexus dealer. And by the DQ $5 lunch, now served all day, every day. Still a 1-0 game as the Marine layer settles in over Petco Park. King Felix looking for perhaps a little bit more support, but doing his best to keep the Americans quiet. The only uprising, 3 straight singles in the 3rd that were neutralized on the double play ball as Paul Goldschmidt grounds to the left side. And there's 1 away to start the 5th.
With Felix Hernandez, he could get a lot of these quick outs because hitters just don't want to get deep in the count. They got too many weapons that they have to fight off. So when they see a good fastball, and unfortunately for the USA hitters, all of his fastballs seem to be on the outer part of the plate.
Here's Andrew McCutchen now, 0 for 3 so far in World Baseball Classic play. Talked a little bit about this ballpark last night. Built in 2004 and then reconfigured to a degree a few years ago. I think the folks that ran Padres baseball at the time, though everybody kind of admires and respects a 2-to-1 pitcher's performance, there were just too many of them here for the taste of these folks, and they brought the fences in. It has added to the runs per game equation here. one thing that's not going to change is the fact that the air does get really heavy here in the spring, even in the early summer.
I loved it here. I love pitching here. I love coming here. The old stadium, the new stadium. I'm glad they moved it in after I was done.
Well, the numbers don't lie. Is this right? You got a .31 ERA in this ballpark?
I wouldn't have guessed that, but
man, you did like it here. Big swing and a miss by McCutchen. And strikeout number 3 for King Felix. He's retired 6 in a row now since the bases were loaded in the 3rd.
tried to go in, but instead that cutter elevated. Still good enough to get out McCutchen.
You know what else has kind of changed the way games go here? It's not just the fences coming in, but there is a school of thought that all the construction in downtown San Diego has changed the way whatever wind conditions used to affect the game. Here's Jonathan Lucroy now. First couple of years of the ballpark, the buildings that are outside the scoreboard, heck, the big scoreboard itself, it was a little different out there. There just wasn't as much right outside the confines of the park. A ball and a strike, the count to Lucroy. I don't know that there's been a study commission per se, the way the Rangers have studied the wind currents at Arlington, for example. But again, runs per game were up last year to an all-time high, over 9 runs a game in this place.
I had a moment with the St. Louis Cardinals, right? Only a couple months. Hadn't pitched in 2 weeks. And if you want to win a trivia question, just ask anybody who's a Cardinals fan who holds the franchise record for most strikeouts in a row. And I'll be 100th on the list. But I ended up striking out 7 in a row here. And
as a Cardinal?
As a Cardinal.
In this place.
In this place. And the guy who broke it up the reason he broke it up is Gwynn was on the back of his name, and his son, Tony Gwynn Jr. Because I couldn't get out senior, so I certainly wouldn't get out junior. And so that's a trivia question that you'll win 100% of the time if you ask it to somebody who follows the Cardinals or follows baseball.
I mean, I'll double down on you. No disrespect to you, of course, you know how I feel about you and your career, but I would not. You could give me 100 guesses and you would not have been in the 100.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah. No chance. When they told me, I'm like, it's got to be a misprint.
You were a Cardinals record holder.
My first start with it.
Did you consider the Cardinals for your Hall of Fame cap?
If I wanted to move.
That's like Piazza going into the Hall of Fame as a Marlin. That's just, no, not going to happen. Reggie is an Oriole, even though Reggie should have gone in as an A. Anyway, I digress. Full count to Jonathan Lucroy, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Felix trying to get the side in order. A bouncer up the middle. Escobar's got it, and they do go down 1, 2, 3. That's 7 in a row retired by King Felix Hernandez. It is a pitching and defense night at Petco Park on this evening. We played 5 complete to the tune of a 1-0 ball game. Follow every pitch of this year's World Baseball Classic live with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Download MLB.com mobile at-bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball. And join Major League Baseball in the new era as we celebrate opening day. Make sure to wear your cap on April 3rd. Share a photo on social media using the hashtag #CapsOn. Tune into all the opening day action April 3rd on ESPN, MLB Network, and MLB.com. Still a 1-0 ball game. Ender Inciarte leads things off, as it certainly looks like Felix Hernandez is done for the game after being bear hugged down there. But Felix was just outstanding today.
Yeah,
done after 5 scoreless innings.
A little bit of caution in the first inning when he made that play, and they ran out there. Didn't seem to bother him one bit after that.
Sam Dyson, meanwhile, in relief of Drew Smiley. Gets the ground ball off the bat of Ender Inciarte for out number 1. And speaking of the starting pitcher tonight for the U.S., a brilliant game, a brilliant exit as he struck out 6 in a row. And is he standing by with JP? Do I have that right? Yeah, JP, take it away.
Thanks, Matty, and we're here with Drew Smiley. And Drew, so tell us, when was the last time you struck out 6 in a row?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. Just trying to fill up the zone, attack, go right at guys. I mean, I know I have a limited amount of pitches, so just wanted to leave it all out there and go right at them. So
Jim Leland, Jeff Jones, they trusted you in the World Series when you were a rookie. What did it mean to deliver this huge performance for them here tonight?
I mean, this is huge. This is a lot of fun. It feels like a playoff game, honestly. I mean, everybody here dedicated their spring training to come here to win, to compete, and we care about this and we want to win. So I wanted to go out there and give my best effort for the team and for USA, and I thought I pitched pretty well.
Your parents, Todd and Tony, are here. Your fiance, Erin, is here as well. What does it mean to share this experience with them?
This is great. I mean, they didn't want to miss it. They flew out here right away when they knew I wasn't going to pitch in Miami, and it's awesome to have family here to support you.
So, Drew, we have to ask, what's the scene like right now at the Beef O'Brady's in Maumelle, Arkansas?
They probably got it on all the TVs. Every time I pitch, my dad makes sure it's on there, everybody rooting, so I always have a support system back home.
So we were told, Drew, that, of course, you're the co-owner of this great restaurant, that it's 79-cent wings all night. So I'm wondering, did you come out ahead here on the evening here for you?
I hope so. Me and my dad went in on it together. He runs it day to day. He takes pride in it, and hopefully everybody back there is having fun watching the game.
Hey, Drew, I was just getting the information. It sounds like your career high for strikeouts in a game, in a major league game, is 6. You had 6 in a row and then 8 overall. Look at that lineup. Miggy, Victor, how did you do it?
Just getting ahead, trying to go right at him. I was pretty fresh. I mean, my last start was like 9 days ago, so my arm felt good, and I think my fastball played up a little bit today, and I just wanted to go right at him, attack, and try to hit my spot. So Miggy's pretty impressive, but I was happy to get him out.
Drew, thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Matty, back to you.
All right, JP, nice stuff. And let me tell you, Sam Dyson picking up right where he left off, having retired 4 in a row on his own, as Martin Prado looks like he got into first base a little gimpy. We'll make sure we come back and update you on his status in a 1-0 game in San Diego. There is a new season on the way, and MLB Network is bringing you 11 live opening week games, plus live look-ins and analysis from the best in the biz on MLB Tonight. Opening week coverage presented by Best Western beginning April 2nd right here on MLB Network. Well, a little concern now for Team Venezuela. This is what happened to Martin Prado to end the inning.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like the hamstring, right hamstring, or at least that's the classic case of the guy pulling up, feeling something. Hopefully he pulled up in time, but nonetheless, not what you want to see for Team Venezuela.
The very versatile Hernan Perez takes over in left. And a new pitcher as well for Venezuela. Angel Property Deolis Guerra takes over on the mound. 27-year-old who last year got into 44 games for the Angels. Finished the year with good numbers, 3-0 and a 3.21 ERA. He'll get Alex Bregman, Ian Kinsler, and Adam Jones in the U.S. 6th.
Basically, he'll throw a lot of fastballs and changeups, over the top delivery. He's got a long arm action out of the glove. There's a little bit of a delay there when he takes it out, which is conducive for a split finger changeup. Fastball about 92 miles an hour.
On the corner to put Bregman behind 1-2. The Americans have had one legitimate opportunity to score tonight. That was after 3 straight singles, loaded the bases with 1 away against Hernandez in the 3rd. But Felix rolled a double play ball to get him out of trouble. There's a ground ball for Escobar and 1 away for Deolis Guerra. Deolis Guerra, by the way, was all set to pitch in the 2013 World Baseball Classic. He was with the team in San Juan where they opened pool play. but didn't pitch after he was diagnosed with a blood clot in his pitching shoulder. That required surgery, that complicated procedure that we're hearing more and more often now, where a rib is removed to free blood flow. He was hospitalized for 10 days after that surgery, and it took him, by all accounts, a good year for him to feel normal and healthy and resume his baseball career. Ball and no strikes to Ian Kinsler. Kinsler has singled and struck out tonight. It's 1-1. We ever get word of that guy that, remember that guy yesterday that caught 2 balls out there in right center? He caught a home run ball and then he caught a ball on a ground rule double. Is he back tonight?
Oh, I saw him on CNN last night.
And Kinsler pulls a base hit into left, his second of the night. Let's take you back to the aforementioned scoring opportunity back in the third. Singles by Lucroy, Bregman, and Kinsler, and then the bouncing ball for Altuve that turned into the inning-ending rally killer. And Adam Jones will have a chance with a runner aboard here and only 1 away. Quick throw down to first. Kinsler back in there easily.
I am surprised that Jones is not checking the ball. He's got to be able to check the ball. And they're just going to throw it out. So he was too late.
Christian Yelich waiting on deck. Starters were fantastic tonight. King Felix, 5 shutout innings. Drew Smiley, 4 2/3 with 8 strikeouts, including 6 in a row to end his night. The only difference, the unearned run that Venezuela scored in the third.
That's outside.
Ball and a strike. JP, we talked about the Southern California amateur connection to this U.S. team before we went on the air tonight. Adam Jones, the local product from San Diego. A lot of Southern Californians here.
There are, Matt, and I think we have to find maybe a good nickname here for the 2, 3, 4 in this lineup. Jones, Yelich, Arenado, all SoCal guys. And in fact, Yelich was telling me this story, Matt, about how he was playing on a youth team with Arenado, managed by Mike Spires, and they were actually playing a tournament in Georgia. He said Mike Spires was late getting to the ballpark, so Yelich and Arenado and the teammates made up the lineup themselves. By the time Spires showed up, they were winning 15-0 in the third inning. So again, a pretty good youth baseball team, their travel team, with Arenado and Yelich on the same club.
Sure, that's when the manager can just get in his car and, you know, shut it down, head home. Guerra showing some concern with Ian Kinsler at first base. 2 balls and a strike to Adam Jones.
Jones has yet to see anything middle in or up. They've been very, very careful throughout this whole USA lineup.
Bounce to third. Odor to Altuve. The relay not in time. In fact, it wasn't even in time at second. It looked like Altuve may have come off the bag, and the U.S. really catches a break from what looked like a potentially inning-ending double play ball to everybody being safe.
Well, he's not the biggest target at second base, and of course Odor throws the ball just a little bit wide, and the only way he can get it is to come off the bag and try to secure the out at first. But Jones does not take anything for granted and runs it out. And this small opportunity for the USA team. Jones does a nice job getting out of the box and putting his head down and not taking nothing for granted.
It's going to be all for Deolis Guerra. The left-handed hitting Christian Yelich due up, and the Fire get not a pitching change, and we'll be right back. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority, the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. U.S. fans kind of waiting around for something to break offensively. Perhaps it comes on Jose Castillo's watch. Padres property left-hander, who's going to try to neutralize a couple of base runners here against a guy who at the start of the night was the Americans' best bat. Christian Yelich 5 for 10 prior to tonight. He's been held hitless tonight so far in 2 tries. Jose Castillo in a big spot. That was fouled back, and it's 0-2.
Basically 4-seam, 2-seam, and you saw the breaking ball right there. Good arm for the U.S., especially for Yelich. I'm sure he has no experience, just trying to go off of what they've told him. There's the slider. Fastball already at 94 miles an hour.
Nolan Arenado waiting on deck. Jose Castillo was highly thought of at the time he was acquired by the Padres in that 12-player deal that sent Trey Turner and Joe Ross to the Nationals and Will Myers here to San Diego. So before you go judging that trade, know that some of the minor league players involved in that acquisition may actually balance it out for San Diego, because they've gotten some flack for trading Trey Turner. It's 0-2 now. It stays 0-2 rather to Yelich.
You see the numbers in the minor league career, hoping to keep climbing the ladder. That's the big difference. 4 seasons, only 154 innings. So taking the time.
Kinsler and Jones aboard. The next 0-2. Beaten on the ground, foul. Four hits for Team USA tonight, all of them singles. 3 hits for Venezuela tonight, all of them singles.
Let's see if they climb the ladder with a fastball right here after 3 consecutive breaking balls. Slow him down and then speed him up.
Yelich strikes out.
Back to the slider and went below the zone. Yelich could not stay off it. See where the catcher wanted it. Really good spin on that pitch. Looks like we're going to get another pitching change.
Yeah, Nolan Arenado scheduled, and it looks like Venezuela wants a right-hander for him. A slow walk to the mound by Omar Vizquel. I don't know that anybody else was up, though. Yeah, no change here. I mean, as soon as we saw Omar, it stood to reason, because Arenado's the batter.
Well, then this got to be a strategy move to say we're going to have to face Eric Hosmer.
All right.
Or be very careful because Eric Hosmer's on deck. We never think about the base being open when there's first and second.
Well, Arenado has taken advantage of opportunities like this in the tournament. 3-run home run against Canada over the weekend. In fact, that's his only hit of the World Baseball Classic. But Major League Baseball's RBI leader over the last 2 years is about as good as it gets in spots like this. They're coming after him. Fastball misses upstairs.
And that's what you want to remind everybody of. That, you know, again, when it's second and third, this would be kind of an easier approach. You just put them on first and face the left-hander. But even though it's first and second, there's still a base open. You don't think that way conventionally as a pitcher. So you say, hey, if the count doesn't go in your favor, this is how we're going to try to attack him. If we lose him, you got the left-hander on deck.
95-mile-an-hour fastball in for a strike.
He has
or something.
Yeah.
Ball and 2 strikes now. Jose Castillo is a strike away from pitching out of a really difficult situation. Guy that shot up the Padres developmental system quickly last year.
We'll see what's interesting when that first call goes against Arenado. It's established inside. He's going to have to be aggressive. They went right back in there, and the only option was to pull it foul. So you can spin that slider at his back foot and think that it's another inside fastball.
Still 1-2. Nolan Arenado last year had reverse splits, right versus left. 304 against right-handed pitching, just 267 against southpaws. Two and two now.
That would have been the pitch. He got it closer to starting it on the inside part of the plate and letting it go to that back foot.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Nolan Arenado. Missed with the breaking ball again. Full count now.
Good take and great break on that slider to Castillo with the fastball. 10-mile-an-hour difference.
Runners go, a swing and a miss to strike out, and a big jam avoided by the 21-year-old Jose Castillo. Pitching change for Team U.S. Still a 1-0 ball game as David Robertson takes over to work the top of the 7th inning. He'll get the tough middle of the order for Venezuela. Miguel Cabrera leads things off. Cabrera, Martinez, and Odor as you take a look at the 2016 numbers with the White Sox.
Robinson primarily cutters and that knuckle curveball you just saw. Last outing he had, the cutter really wasn't making that turn. It was kind of backing up. See if he can get that finish on that pitch. It makes it difficult for right-handed hitters.
Cabrera lines to left. Did a nice job on him tonight. Smiley kept him 0 for 2, and Robertson gets him to start the 7th. Hey, so you know how we were wondering earlier tonight how many times Cabrera and Martinez have struck out back-to-back?
Yeah. Did we get that info?
Our friends at the Elias Sports Bureau dug this out for us. Prior to last season, it had only happened 13 times in 4 years. Last season, however, it happened on 6 occasions.
Pretty
so
close.
A total of 19 times in the 5 years they've been together. Here's Victor Martinez with 1 away.
I said 4 and you took the under.
Yeah, I was off.
Not by much.
Martinez, in fact, has struck out twice tonight, both times at the hand of Drew Smyly. Andrew Miller up in the U.S. bullpen. U.S. overloads the right side of the infield against Victor Martinez, and in fact, Hosmer and Bregman and McCutcheon, you could draw a straight line all the way between them. They are standing as symmetrically as they possibly could be.
Ball.
2 balls and a strike to count to Victor Martinez.
As I mentioned before, coming out of spring training, it's going to be a lot of GMs looking at the Tigers to see if they struggle at all, and then when do they sell. The health of this guy right here is so huge. Predominantly right-handed hitting club of the Tigers. Of course, his teammate Miguel Cabrera. This is an RBI machine.
Three balls and a strike. Entering his 15th big league season. It's been a pretty good 1-2 punch in Detroit. Robertson working out of the stretch with the bases empty, and Femart swings and sends a ball to deep right center field. Jones with room, not even at the wall. Boy, that one looked like it was ticketed for the beach off the bat.
The ball was smoked. Cutter right into the barrel of the bat. Martinez, you can tell right there, he thinks I might have got it. Says no, sir.
Boy, just putting a ball in play into the outfield has been a rarity here tonight. Your game summary with 2 out in the 7th. Drew Smyly was fantastic, struck out 8, allowed the 1 earned run in the 3rd, which stands as the difference. King Felix was terrific, 5 shutout innings for the Venezuela starter. And here we are in the 7th inning with 2 out, and the base is empty. Here's Rougned Odor. Odor as well has struck out twice tonight. Also guilty of a throwing error, which did not amount to a run. .33 home runs last year as a Ranger.
Oh.
If you're going to fine-tooth comb, if you're really going to pick at the details in Rougned Odor's year last year, the Rangers would like to see the on-base percentage a little higher. It was under 300 last season, 9th lowest in the majors among qualifying hitters.
I thought you were going to say that Cabrera and Martinez were a good 1-2 punch, but he's a good 1 punch.
Oh, nicely done. It's going to be interesting when Venezuela plays the Dominican Republic. Two balls and 2 strikes to Rougned Odor.
It's kind of how the first game in the first pool went for the U.S. team against Colombia. Couldn't get anything going, and then they scratched across a couple runs with 2 outs, and then they drop strike three or the strike three wild pitch. Tied it up.
Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Base is empty, 2 gone, a 1-0 game. Robertson's payoff pitch home, and Odor swings and sends a high drive to right. That's the pop we were talking about. Venezuela. Here's Alcides Escobar now. As we mentioned, 33 home runs from Rougned Odor last year in a breakout campaign. His solo shot here has made it a 2-0 game.
Well, it's a 3-2 cutter, and see how it went down in the middle. That's just a nitro zone for a lot of left-handers, down and in swing. You see a lot of those guys be able to, that's just their sweet spot.
Escobar with a base hit into center field. Jones has to get there to cut it off in a hurry and hold Escobar to just a single.
Well, I talked about in relievers, they don't get an opportunity to throw 7, 8, 9 games. So you can tell his cutter's not fresh and it's just not locked in. It's going to take him a little while. You see that home run once again. That spin and that reaction tells it all.
It's going to be all for David Robertson. Carlos Gonzalez, the scheduled batter. And Jim Leland wants to make a change. A 2-0 ball game. Rougned Odor's solo home run making it a 2-0 game, and as we mentioned, he's got the kind of power profile that has put him in some very impressive company, JP.
Yes, Matt. Odor, one of 3 middle infielders ever with 50+ home runs and 20+ stolen bases through his age 22 season. You may have heard of the other 2, Cal Ripken Jr. and Alex Rodriguez.
Wow. I mean, that's heavy company that he's in right now. His home run in part knocks David Robertson out of the game. And with a runner aboard, a run in and 2 away, it's going to be Andrew Miller who will try to neutralize Carlos Gonzalez. Starts him with a strike.
Andrew Miller, a little shock to the system last time he was out. Probably won't ever see that again. Multiple home runs hit off of him. Well, StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services, is going to talk about this home run, and it was absolutely squared up. You see his, no doubt about it, as soon as he hits it, he knows it's gone. Robertson knows it's gone. 104.7 and 422 feet are the numbers.
Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Carlos Gonzalez. He has singled and scored. Prior to that home run by Odor, it was the lone run of the night. In the U.S. bats in the 7th, they'll have Hosmer, Goldschmidt, and McCutcheon. Home run by Odor, by the way. The first non-single of the night on either side. Little chip shot out in front of catcher. And Jonathan Lucroy finishes the inning. Rougned Odor does a little damage, however. 7th inning stretch at Petco Park, and the homestanding Americans now trail by 2. Eric Hosmer leads things off in the U.S. half of the 7th. The Americans have 9 outs left to try to catch Venezuela in their 2-0 lead tonight. Hosmer, Goldschmidt, and McCutchen against the 21-year-old Jose Castillo, who in most impressive fashion struck out Yelich and Arenado to strand runners aboard with 1 gone in the 6th. Knocked down at 3rd by Odor, and Hosmer is going to be on base with an infield single. A 2-0 lead for Venezuela in this World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network, presented by Geico. Matt Vasgersian with John Smoltz and JP Morosi. The second game of the San Diego bracket. Last night, Puerto Rico defeated the Dominican Republic 3-1. And another low-scoring affair tonight. At this point, Omar wants to make a change. A very impressive short stint by the young left-hander. And with some heavy hitting right-handed bats due up, Venezuela goes to the bullpen. We'll be right back. Pitching change. A veteran of the Mexican leagues and more Detroit Tigers property, Arsenio Leon takes over here with a runner aboard and nobody out in the 7th. It was crucial for Venezuela to get a right-hander in the game for Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt is the active OPS leader versus left-handed pitching. Leon pours in a strike, and it's 1-1. A 4-time All-Star and Arizona Diamondback slugger. His just 1 for 9 so far in the World Baseball Classic. But it was a chance too big to take to leave the left-hander out there against him.
It's always tough facing somebody you've never seen under these circumstances. Of course, he's got a good live arm. You can see the ball with velocity and movement. Goldschmidt's just trying to see one in the zone that he likes. And then, as we know, the power that he displays. One swing of the bat could tie it up.
Counts 2 balls and 2 strikes to Paul Goldschmidt. Hosmer aboard at first base. An inning opening single. All 5 U.S. hits have been of that variety. Andrew McCutchen next. A bunch of right-handed bats further explaining the move. Goldschmidt with a foul ball to stay alive at 2-2.
We talked about before this start, the organization had the most players represented in the World Baseball Classic, and the Tigers have been the theme.
Players, coaches, managers.
First breaking ball, and Goldschmidt. Oh, and Torino's definitely going to say, we got to get that ball down. That's over the middle of the plate.
Andrew McCutchen waits on deck. Paul Goldschmidt representing the tying run. Full count now, 3-2. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. It makes it the longest at-bat of the night. There goes Hosmer, and Goldschmidt puts it in play to third. Odor can't make the play. And the U.S. is in business here with nobody out in the 7th.
Well, we already talked about Goldschmidt, big guy, but he can run, and he got out of the box, swinging down on a ball, and a do-or-die play really by Odor. And we talked about him moving over to third base, a little bit different angle. But watch how he takes off, and he can get down the line for a big guy. I'm not so sure he wouldn't have beat it out anyways, but that ball, the glove actually closed on the bounce. As it hit the grass, you see his glove close. That's never going to allow the ball to go in the glove when it closes like that.
Odor responsible for both Venezuela errors. In his defense, again, he's playing out of position as a third baseman. He wanted the challenge to try to help his team because they needed somebody over there. Here's Andrew McCutchen now. Even as a second baseman, Rougned Odor is not without his defensive shortcomings. He led the American League in errors last year, and then in 2015 led All-American League second baseman in miscues. That's a part of his game that's still evolving. So we've kind of seen the both ends of it from Odor. The great power. Speaking of which, there's a drive out to right field. At the wall, Carlos Gonzalez hauls it in for out number 1.
He hit that ball really, really good, and you could see that right up against the fence. His home ballpark, that ball's gone. That's usually a feeling of, I see it going over the fence, and then the longer he looks, the more dismayed he's going to be.
Going to have another change this inning. Where are we? Omar's kind of hard to read.
It's very hard to read.
There's nobody up, so we just answered that question by glancing into the Venezuela bullpen.
Bullpen, they have the top tier in the bullpen. It's awfully difficult too to see how much movement goes on there, but some strategy with the infielders, some strategy with your pitcher. Last time he did it.
It sure did. We got the double play ball. Here's Jonathan Lucroy now. He's singled and grounded out tonight. The U.S. can cut its deficit in half with a fly ball here. Felix Hernandez shut out Team USA through 5. Lucroy sends a slicing drive into right. That'll get a run in as Gonzalez makes the catch. Tagging up the score from third is Hosmer. It's a 1-run affair.
That was a big run right there. Just draw closer and see what the rest of your lineup could do.
Here's Alex Bregman now. He too is singled and grounded out tonight. A run in with 2 away. Goldschmidt at first. A base hit for Bregman. Alex Bregman just does not carry himself like a guy with 2 months of major league time. He is going to be a good one.
No, that's why his own manager said when he was struggling, you're one of my best hitters. I'm going to bat you second. He's got a short, compact stroke. Obviously doesn't have to do too much. Wide open right side of the infield. And he can hit. We haven't seen Kinsler get one middle half. A lot of his home runs, Kinsler, especially when he was with the Rangers, are the pull variety. He goes up there. He's not your traditional leadoff hitter as far as single steal bases. He can hit a lot of home runs.
Bear in mind that at this point Venezuela should have been out of the inning, but the error charged to Odor gave the U.S. an opportunity, one they've taken advantage of so far. Kinsler has a pair of singles tonight. You know, as scary, as potent, and as major league decorated as the Venezuela lineup is, you can't say the same about its bullpen. That might be the one big wart on the team. They gave up 21 runs in 4 games in Mexico to start the Classic. I hope Jimmy's drinking decaf tonight. Not a whole lot of opportunities for either side to score runs with people on base. Kinsler falls behind 1 and 2 now.
No, it's been well pitched, and the hitters have tipped their hats indirectly to the pitchers because they haven't made many mistakes.
Jones on deck, first and second, run in 2 away. And Kinsler puts it in play for Altuve to retire the side. The U.S. is able to get on the board to cut their one-time deficit in half. We played 7 complete, a good one at Petco Park. Venezuela by a run. You only get one chance to make a good first impression. MLB Tonight takes you inside every team's training camp for your first impression on how teams stack up for the new season. MLB Tonight's 30 clubs in 30 days. Go to MLBnetwork.com for the full schedule. Pitching change for Team USA to try to hold the deficit at a run. Veteran right-hander Pat Neshek takes over in the 8th.
1-1.
Robinson Chirinos the first to face him. Chirinos, then Ender Inciarte and Jose Altuve.
You want to see somebody that's active on the mound, unique wind-up and motion. This is it. If he had a B-fit on, he's going to lead all pitchers in the amount of steps taken. He is fidgety and has a routine, walks around the mound, wants to go from the start. Unique delivery, almost stands up as he finishes, even though it's a low 3/4 to submarine.
Ground ball to third. 4-time Gold Glover Arenado's got a routine play for route number 1. Well, JP, we know a few things about Pat Neshek in terms of what he likes to do when he's not in uniform. We know he's a big video game guy, but apparently that's not his only hobby.
Matt, it's baseball collectibles. When John Lackey signed with the Cardinals, he wanted Neshek's number 41. Now, as John Smoltz knows, standard procedure there is the wristwatch. Well, Neshek said, I don't want that. I want a signed Babe Ruth baseball. So John Lackey bought him exactly that. Pat Neshek told me, guys, he has the best mint condition set of 1970 Topps cards in the entire world.
Love it. First offering to Ender Inciarte is fouled away. I mean, baseball cards and video games, it's our youth. And Pat's still in it. And we're all very jealous, as a matter of fact. Part of a kind of a rebuilt Phillies bullpen this year. He'll be his 6th major league employer as Inciarte bunts it foul to fall behind 0-2. Top of the order, Jose Altuve waiting next, and the U.S. is hopeful that it'll be the last time they have to deal with him. Actually, I take that back, because maybe they could tie this thing up and have to face him a bunch more.
Got a nervous walk to him, I can tell you.
You get a kick out of this guy, don't you?
I do. I like the mannerisms, certain mannerisms that I pay attention to in pitchers.
A fly ball swatted the other way, drifting off the shortstop is Bregman to make the catch.
That's the easiest changeup, by the way. 60-some miles an hour. And this one was a little high, but here's the motion, and then the ball's just going to float up there. There's the changeup grip. Watch this right here. It's getting there, getting there, getting there, getting there. Oh, can't help but a hitter. You can see how frustrated you get.
So now back to Altuve, who opened the game with a bunt single on the very first pitch and has gone 0 for 2 since. So 1 for 3 altogether tonight. A foul ball up the line at first.
Well, we knew when these teams got here it was going to be very competitive, and we've already seen that in the first 2 games. But at some point, one of these lineups is going to make a pitcher pay that's not on their game. Give credit to the pitchers. The first 2 games so far, they've been on their game. With the exception of Dominican Republic, bases loaded, nobody out in the first inning. They were silenced to only 1 run, and right now the USA only 1 run in their game.
The 1-1 to the 2-time batting champ is swung on and missed. It's almost like Pat Neshek is a left-hander trapped in a right-handed body.
See, this is where you think he's going to go Ken Tagalbi on you, but then he raises up a little bit to deliver the ball. It's a unique delivery.
And he uses it to strike out one of the best hitters in the game. This World Baseball Classic telecast on MLB Network is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And sponsored in part by Bud Light, famous among friends. And by Wendy's. It's been a good one to watch. Just a 1-run affair. Some changes for Venezuela. San Diego Padres star Yangervis Solarte takes over at third. In a very familiar circumstance by position and ballpark. And Chicago Cubs right-hander Hector Rondon takes over on the mound. One of the new adds to the Venezuela bullpen. Big swing and a miss by Adam Jones.
Long arm delivery. He's got a really good fastball, as you saw right there. Fastball slider. Primarily a fastball, 4-seam type guy.
Quickly 0-2 to Adam Jones. Jones, Yelich, and Arenado scheduled. No shortage of terrific options for Jim Leyland should he want to push some buttons here in his last 6 outs. There's some notable non-starters tonight. Giancarlo Stanton from the right side, a guy that can tie it with 1 swing of the bat. Same with a guy like Brandon Crawford as a left-handed hitter. Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, you've got a lineup of all-stars. Who are you going to pinch hit for?
Yeah, it's just got to be feel, right? Matchups, maybe a guy who's nasty on particular right-handers.
From 0-2 to 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's what's available on the bench. I mean, that's the bench.
PlayStation.
How about that? Yeah. Fantasy league rosters that don't have starting lineups that good. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Adam Jones. The U.S. down a run, last of the 8th. Jones with a big drive to left field. Perez on the move, and it's gone! The San Diego native ties it in the 8th. Here's Christian Yelich now. Second home run of the Classic for Adam Jones. with a bouncer that gets back up the middle. The go-ahead run on base with nobody out.
Well, we talked about him not getting one up in the zone. He finally did, and he didn't miss it. We talked about the success he's had at this ballpark. No bigger swing right now for the U.S., at least tying this thing up. The rally still continues.
Boy, how good does that feel for Adam Jones? He grounded out, doubled up with the bases loaded in the third. Left the runner in scoring position earlier. On one big swing of the bat makes up for all that. Here's Nolan Arenado now. Go ahead run aboard with nobody out. Arenado convinced that ball was outside.
I think he's right.
I like to go to the old Tommy Lasorda line on that. Garvey couldn't have hit that pitch with an oar. And neither could have Arenado. Arenado socks a high fly ball to left. And that's the first out of the inning.
This ball had a chance to be a long ways, but just gets underneath it. Oh, man.
Here comes Omar now. We talked about the shortcomings of the Venezuela bullpen. They thought they had addressed that in part by adding Rondon for this round. 21 runs allowed by the Venezuela bullpen in 4 games in Mexico to start the tournament. There's nobody up behind Rondon here, as you can see. U.S. gets 1 in the 7th on the sac fly by Lucroy. The Jones home run ties it in the 8th. Here's Eric Hosmer now. This is starting to feel a little bit like the U.S. win against Colombia, John.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It took a long time to get them going, and then they were sparked in the latter part of the innings. Of course, won it in extra innings. A huge relief because of the expectations for the U.S. going into that first round.
Yelich runs. Hosmer swings and sends a ball to deep right and out of here. Boy, does Eric Hosmer love swinging the bat at Petco Park.
Eric Hosmer also loves, I don't think there's a fastball he doesn't love. Early in the count, he's in such attack mode, right? And this fastball right in the spot where he loves it. He knows it too as soon as he gets the barrel to the ball.
It's Paul Goldschmidt now.
He has a unique ability early to be super aggressive and then with 2 strikes find contact.
same spot that he took Johnny Cueto deep in July to become the MVP of the All-Star game. You know, before this inning began, the U.S. had hit only 2 home runs in the entire tournament, but a pair of homers here. Adam Jones, his second, and Hosmer's first of the World Baseball Classic. Two balls and 2 strikes to Goldschmidt. All this with only 1 away.
Go, Paul.
U.S. bullpen's busy. Luke Gregerson might be the guy that gets the opportunity to save this one tonight. And Goldschmidt sends a ground ball to third for Solarte. And they're 2 away. You know, if this score holds, John, and the Americans hang on to win, tomorrow Venezuela has to try to bounce back against the Dominican Republic, and both of those teams will enter play tomorrow winless, and it makes tomorrow's game crucial. That's a must-win if the DR and Venezuela want to have a real chance of moving on to Los Angeles next week.
For sure, and I don't think DR, with all that's at stake for them, be a high intensity game tomorrow for sure.
We'll be with you live tomorrow at 7 local time, 10 p.m. Eastern, for the 3rd game in San Diego, and it's going to have some major repercussions for somebody. McCutchen has a base hit. Things were going well for Venezuela with Felix on the mound. Deolis Guerra threw the ball well. So did Jose Castillo. But the deeper the U.S. got into Venezuela's bullpen, the better things got for the Americans.
Well, in the top of the 9th, they got to go through the heart. Of course, Martin Parado had to come out, so Cabrera and Martinez looming. You know why I know that, Matt?
McCutchen runs. Why do you know that? A base hit to left.
Got a perfect scorecard going.
Ooh. A little bobble and left, but not enough for McCutchen to come home on. And there are runners at the corners now with 3 runs in and 2 away. Is this the longest you've ever kept the scorecard going?
Yeah, first game was perfect too. Lucroy with the runner going, of course, takes advantage of the infielders moving, and right now the U.S. is a totally different team. 7th and 8th inning, they've woken up to score 4. And they're hoping to add on.
Alex Bregman has a couple of singles tonight.
Hey!
95-mile-an-hour fastball in for a strike.
And 264 with the Astros is really higher than that. Because he started out so bad, it was hard to overcome.
Behind 0-2. The inning started with Adam Jones' game-tying home run. Yelich singled. After an out, Hosmer hit a 2-run home run. And then with 2 out, McCutchen and Lucroy have stacked up base hits. Bregman, the 8th American to bat in the inning.
What's crazy about this tournament, besides trying to bank wins, is the runs. And getting them, you never know how they're going to play out. Various tiebreakers.
Yeah, Jim Leland simplified that for us today. He said, we're just going to win. We're not going to worry about any of that. Rugna hit a home run tonight, but he's also committed 2 errors, the second of which proved costly. A 3-run, 5-hit inning for the U.S. The comeback against Colombia last week in Miami, the U.S. was down 2-0 after 5. Tonight, they were down 2-0 headed to the 7th. Tomorrow, Dominican Republic and Venezuela. Friday, the U.S. and Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico yet to lose in the tournament this year. And the Americans hoping to hang on here tonight and get their 1-0. 2-2 to Bregman.
No wasted movement for Bregman. He's not jumping out at the ball when it's being delivered. Patiently fighting off the pitches and then getting one, short stroking it. 2 hits tonight.
So from 0-2 to a full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Begin our broadcast times the next 2 nights, back by an hour. Tomorrow, Venezuela and the Dominican Republic at 10 Eastern, 7 locally, and then Team USA's back on the field once again on Friday night to take on the strong club from Puerto Rico. Full count pitch. He missed with a slider, and that loads the bases. A fine plate appearance by Alex Bregman that started 0-2. Ian Kinsler has a pair of singles tonight in 4 trips to the plate. And now Omar is going to make a move. A rough 2/3 of an inning for Hector Rondon. Bases loaded, a pitching change in the 8th, and we'll be right back. The U.S. lineup flexing its muscle here in the 8th. They're about to send their 9th batter to the plate. They've scored 3 times on a pair of home runs. Adam Jones, the local San Diego product, with a game-tying home run to start the inning, and then Eric Hosmer, 2 guys, not coincidentally perhaps, that have big career numbers in this ballpark, and they have sparked the way for the U.S.
Yeah, another good game. We expected this in this pool. We expected a lot of competitive games and a lot of emotion. I thought we'd see a little more offense, but the pitching has been outstanding, and U.S. in a good position right now if they can add on and close it out at the top of the ninth.
Ian Kinsler will be the first to face the second in back-to-back Rondons to pitch in this game for Venezuela. We just saw Hector. Here is Detroit Tiger property Bruce. Not to be mistaken for one another. In fact, it's hard to mistake Bruce for anybody.
Big man with a big fastball.
A current Tiger pitching to a former Tiger.
Primarily fastball slider. He'll throw an occasional changeup. It's not really the consistent pitch for him.
A current Tiger pitching to a current Tiger. They get my Tigers stories mixed up. Again, Luke Gregerson up in the U.S. bullpen as Kinsler whacks that one foul. Big time power arm on the mound for Venezuela, and the slider stylings, the spin of Luke Gregerson still to come in the top of the ninth. The 0-2 from Rondon is swung on and missed. So Bruce able to clean up part of the mess left behind by his namesake, not before 3 big runs can cross the plate. Hernan Perez leads things off for Venezuela, trailing by a pair. Trailing in the game for the first time all night as Brandon Crawford takes over at shortstop here in the ninth. One of 2 notable changes. The other brings in Luke Gregerson to try to shut it down. Perez, Cabrera, and Martinez for Venezuela here in the top of the ninth.
Sinkers and sliders. Luke Gregerson thought that last slider caught the strike zone.
Strike on the corner, 2 balls and a strike now from Luke Gregerson. King Felix did all he could, 5 shutout innings tonight. He left with a 1-0 lead. It was a lead that was as big as 2-0. There's the slider swung on and missed. U.S. got 1 back in the 7th and 3 in the 8th on a pair of home runs.
First guy so important with the guy on deck, of course, Cabrera. Game-tying home run in the elimination game in Mexico.
They appeal and say that Perez went around, 1 gone.
Slider away, but he could not, according to the umpire, hold up.
Luke Gregerson broke into the big leagues right here in San Diego in 2009. Spent the first 5 of his 8 major league seasons as a Padre. And now Miguel Cabrera. Not a lot of head-to-head here. Just 3 at-bats, but Cabrera's 1 hit against Luke Gregerson has been a home run.
Slipped on that one. Never fun facing this guy, especially when he's 0 for 3. Plant foot gives out.
And it's 3 balls and no strikes. Victor Martinez next, and then Rougned Odor, who would like nothing more than another opportunity with the bat to try to atone for the errors tonight. Check that. It's Solarte in that spot who came on defensively. And we may get to that still as Cabrera takes a ball, and he's aboard.
Well, StatCast powered by Amazon Web Services is going to talk about how the U.S. team got back in this. First, the homer by Adam Jones, 102.5 miles per hour and 402 feet. And then it did not stop there. Eric Hosmer did him one better, 404 feet, 102 off the bat.
2 home run heroes for the moment. Here's Victor Martinez now. He has been held hitless tonight. The U.S. has overloaded the right side of the infield for him all night, and they do so again here with a runner at first. That's Arenado playing in the right field cutout. U.S. pitching has been really strong again tonight. In fact, that base on balls to Cabrera, the first U.S. walk issued all night. Smiley, Dyson, Robertson, Nishak, and now Gregerson. They've combined for 10 strikeouts, 8 of those from Smiley. Now Gregerson, with 6 straight misses, has fallen behind 2-0 to Victor Martinez.
He usually has really good command of his sinker, but again, we talked about this in this tournament. Not the typical reps that guys would get in an everyday spring training with their team. So he's come out and the sinker's diving, but he hasn't been able to command the strike zone with it to go to his slider. Jonesy's going to come out and remind him, you know, what this guy one swing at the bat can do, so you can't give in to him even though it's 2-0 count.
Of the 11 pitches you see on your screen that Gregerson has thrown, 8 of those have been balls.
I'm going to say 6, even though 8 is exactly what the number is. I think he threw 2 of the strikes.
All right.
That's just what and I'm a pitcher.
Understand. Right to the shift for Arenado. To Crawford for 1. The relay on the U.S. is winners tonight. Nolan Arenado is in exactly the right spot for V-Mart. A double play that went 5 to 6 to 3. And the 2 home runs that gave the U.S. a tie game and the lead in the 8th proved the difference.
Hell yeah, baby.
We're going to have a hard time with the Alfa Romeo player of the game tonight, John.
Yes, we are. Nonetheless, the U.S. is going to enjoy this off day that they've got coming up tomorrow. Venezuelans going to have to get right back at it against a very good Dominican Republic team tomorrow.
That's going to be appointment viewing tomorrow night. Really a must-win for both clubs as we take a look once again at the double play that ended the ball game.
Yeah, once it was hit and you saw Arenado come up with it, Victor doesn't run real good. Make sure you throw the ball in a different direction than he's accustomed at third base with Crawford. That's a good feeling.
It's the 3rd win of the tournament for the Americans, but I think you probably agree with me, John. This was likely their most complete victory so far of the tournament.
Yeah, once again, it didn't look good for the longest time. Their bats were silent. They woke up at the right time. Good starting pitching again by the U.S. team. No earned runs for their entire starting pitching staff to this point.
And JP standing by with one of the Americans' heroes.
Thanks, Matt. Well, Adam Jones, how does this story sound? Morse high school graduate comes home, saves Team USA here in San Diego. How about that story?
I didn't save Team USA. You had a baby? I didn't save Team USA. Our pitching staff, unbelievable tonight. Smiley went out there, battled his tail off, minimized damage. The bullpen came in and just did a terrific job in order for us to even have a chance to come back. They're the ones that won this game for us, and we're just timely hitting, and we just, at some point in time, we figured that we had to score a run at some time. So, hey, tip our caps to our pitchers and our hitters for just grinding it out. United we grind, and that's what we're trying to do right now.
You're down 0-2 in that 8th inning at bat, Adam. How did you battle back there to deliver so big there for Team USA?
Grind it out, you know what I mean? Just never give up. Obviously, you're down 0-2. You're obviously in a more defensive position. I fought back to get 2-2, and he left a fastball up. I was able to get on top of it and drive it out the park. And then, Yelich comes, get a hit, then Hosmer drives one out the park. It's just, pass the baton. That's what kind of lineup we have. And, hey, Venezuela got a lineup like that too. But like I said, our hitters and our pitching staff was in sync tonight. And obviously we were in sync later as an offense, but it doesn't matter when you do it. Or actually, it doesn't matter when you do it. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's just when you do it. And we did it late, and it was important for us.
Adam, you mentioned the word grind a couple times. What kind of feeling are you feeling now in the dugout?
I mean, it's the guys, all 27 outs, were screaming and yelling at each other. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Pick up each other, pick up the pieces for the next person. And it's a long game. Facing Felix Hernandez, one of the game's best pitchers. So, we battled him, got him out the game, and then got some better at bats. And You know, we was able to scratch across a couple. We had a chance, I did in the third inning, but grounded to a double play. And I just told myself, you know, hey, you're going to get another shot, and so just try and deliver the next time.
Last one for you, Adam. You round the bases, you come home plate, you see the flags waving, the USA chant. For someone from San Diego, how special was that?
I mean, it's a military city. So, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of military people in the stands right now, men and women. So I'm representing the name across my chest right now, not the Baltimore Orioles. But, you know, it's a special feeling to have my family and friends here to see this. And, you know, it turned out to be a hell of a game for people here in the stands and people at home to watch.
Adam, enjoy it. Thanks so much.
Will do.
Matty, back to you.
JP, thanks. Adam Jones, a big part of the win tonight. Drew Smiley, a big part of the win tonight. Lineup-wide contributions. The bullpen held up terrific. But our Alfa Romeo player of the game tonight is the man that struck the 2-run home run. Must win tomorrow to have a real chance of moving on to Los Angeles. The U.S. with a 4-2 victory tonight to win their first matchup here in San Diego. Again, Team USA back in action on Friday night to take on undefeated Puerto Rico. Tomorrow, join us for Venezuela and the Dominican Republic. MLB Tonight is coming up next on MLB Network. For John Smoltz and J.P. Morosi, Matt Vasgersian, thanking you for watching us. Let's send you to MLB Tonight. Fran Charles and Bill Ripken up next. Fran, take it away.